Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back with me, Vassal of Chaos, in this game Rise of Kingdom. Alright, so last time I've informed you which is the best of Archer Commander pairing for the KvK 2. And today I'm going to discuss about the Cavalry in the KvK 2. And it's going to be the full Cavalry march, right? So the commander that I'm going to discuss is the best in the terms of full Cavalry marches. Not mixed troop, not leading the other kind of troops, just Cavalry. Alright, let's get it started. So, in the KvK 2, we're gonna unlock two new legendary cavalry commanders. So the first one is Genghis Khan. He will come out first from the Wheel of Fortune. And the second one is Saladin, which come from Mightiest Governor event. Right, let me tell you, Genghis Khan is basically a stronger version of Minamoto and Cao Cao, because he is like an assassin. He has, same like Cao Cao and Minamoto, he has a very high speed and a very high skill damage, but he is very squishy, same like them both, right? I'm going to discuss about his first skill first, right? His first skill have a really high damage factor. This guy is 1700, so it's really higher than Cao Cao or even Minamoto. And what would make him more crazy than the other commander is that his rage requirement is 950. Take a look. Hannibal Barca, rage requirement 1000. Richard I, rage requirement 1000. So yeah, everybody have 1000 rage requirement except for Genghis Khan. So this make him to able to regain the rage, which will damage the enemy even more. Right, so that's the first skill. Let's go for the second one. This second skill is really crazy because it have rage requirement reduction. So your rage requirement, this 950, will be reducted even more, subtracted by 100. So it's going to be 850. That is insane, right? So you get, when expertise, you gain additional march speed bonus by 15%, and while you're being attacked, you lose this bonus and you will have another march speed reduction by 10%. Alright, so you might want to max these two skill first before maxing the other skill, because take a look at that. If you only have upgraded it once, you only have it level 1 for the second skill, you only get 3% of march speed bonus, but you have 30% march speed reduction when you're being hit the enemy. And yet Genghis Khan is very squishy, so when having this skill only reaching level 1, or let's say you have the skill below level 5, it's going to be a suicidal, alright? So make sure you upgrade these two skills first. Alright, let's go proceed to the third skill. Third skill, you gain additional damage bonus by 30% if your health is more than 70% strength. And the requirement is that you must only have a cavalry units, right? So that's why Genghis Khan is only suitable for cavalry. It's not good to pair him with another non-cavalry units and another non-cavalry commanders, so only cavalry. Right, so the fourth skill, right, if your health has been reduced by 50% strength, right, so it's kind of complementary with the third skill. So this skill will be activated when you have more than 70% strength, and this skill will be activated when you have less than 50% strength, right? So make sure you have either more than 70% or less than 50% to activate either of this skill. Right, so when you have less than 50% strength, your skill damage bonus is increased by 30%, and you will even restore your rage by 25. This is crazy. You have a low rage requirement and high direct damage factor, so by getting additional rage restored, you are going to be a beast. Okay, let's see for the expertise. This is what makes Genghis Khan crazy. If the Chosen One skill is used, Chosen One is his active skill here, Chosen One. if the chosen one skill is used. While the army led by this commander only contains cavalry units, grant a 30% chance that the chosen one skill, his primary skill, can be used again instantly. So yeah, after using the first skill, you have additional 30% chance to use the first skill again directly after using it. That's crazy. So pair him with a high rage regenerator cavalry, right? So the best suitable pairing here would be Cao Cao. I'm going to tell you, it's going to be Cao Cao, or if you are a free player, you can use Pelagius, because Pelagius is a really good rage regenerator, especially for the cavalry player. Take a look at that. Rage restored 100, so it's going to be complementary towards Genghis Khan. Well, as you can see here, Genghis Khan is also squishy. If you want to make Genghis Khan primary with additional tankiness, you can add Saladin as a secondary. That's the only way to make Genghis Khan to become tanky, because there are no other cavalry commander which provides tankiness towards for making Genghis Khan to be less squishy first, right? So yeah, let us continue to the second one. I'm going to discuss about Saladin. I'm not going to say that Genghis Khan is better than Saladin, because these commander are both have different playing style. While Genghis Khan playing style is kind of like assassin, like the regular cavalry pairing that you mostly encounter in the battlefield. Saladin here is a really tanky cavalry, different playing style, which is introduced in the KvK too. He has a really good support talent tree, as you can see here. He has a direct damage of when expertise is going to have 1,400. It's the same as Cao Cao and Minamoto, and while using this skill, you will reduce the enemy march speed by 30% and have their healing reduction reducted by 40%, right? So next skill is about cavalry defense bonus. Oh, this is new. There is no other legendary cavalry commander in the KvK Season 2 that have cavalry defense bonus, so this is really a new playing style. By 20% cavalry defense bonus, alright? So the attack bonus, he also received attack bonus by 20% and also march speed by 5%. It's really slightly, but it's kind of cool, right? So let's continue to the third skill. Reduce skill damage taken from the enemies by 10%. When expertise is going to be 30% and counter attack damage taken reduction by 20%. So this is kind of make Saladin more tanky. This is very complementary if you want to make your Genghis Khan to become less squishy, right? And the third skill is you got a bonus attack while attacking the city by 15%. So Saladin here is the best cavalry commander when you're rallying city, right? So let's continue to the expertise. Oh, the direct damage factor will be further increased by same like Genghis Khan first skill, 1,700, right? So not only that, you will also have an increase to the target march speed reduction into 50%, and even you get further increasement of decreasing enemy healing effect by 50% for the next 5 seconds. 5 second healing effect reduction is really crazy. You could pair Saladin with Alexander for anti-heal, commander pairing, because there are a lot of healing commander in the KvK Season 2, such as Pelagius, also Constantine, and Richard I. These are the most insane healing commander that we will encounter in the KvK Season 2. And Saladin, when he is paired with Alexander, is going to be the best anti-heal commander. But make sure to make the Alexander into the primary and Saladin to the secondary. Why? Because, a lot of healing commander are cavalry and infantry unit. So it's going to be Alexander primary, so you're going to be making full infantry. Well, I'm not going to discuss it here because this video is going to be mostly for, the full cavalry march. Right, so if you are going to use Saladin as a primary, then your secondary is going to be do not use any cavalry commander because Saladin is not to be made for damage, right? So this commander is kind of unique because his second best commander will be, even if you are a T5 player, if you are a high spender, I would recommend not using any, legendary cavalry commander or even any cavalry commander, because he has tank, and his purpose is to lead full cavalry marches, but still have a support role. So it's kind of unique. Once again, I'm going to say it's kind of unique. So I'm going to say that Saladin best pairing would be either Aelfled or Joan of Arc, right? Or even Sansu if you want to have an AoE damage with a lot of Rage Regenerator by 250. If you're facing 5 enemies, Sansu is going to be better. But in my opinion, I would prefer using Saladin as primary and Joan of Arc as secondary. In my opinion, it will be better than having Adelflight, because Joan of Arc has the Rage Regenerator, which even boosts your first skill usage even more. Right? So that is what I'm going to tell you. You know why Cao Cao is considered to be the best, to be better than Minamoto in a second KvK, and why everyone is more likely to leave Minamoto in the KvK Season 2. Right? First, let us compare in the first skill. So, Minamoto have 1400 skill, same as Cao Cao. Where's Cao Cao? Here is it. 1400. So, what make it different in the first skill is like the attack reduction and march speed reduction. Cao Cao have level 4 have 40% attack reduction and 10% march speed reduction, and let's see what Minamoto get. So Minamoto get additional damage factor by 600 when expertised for the next 2 seconds, so it's kinda 1200, but it only have 50%, so will not occur much of the time, right? So let's consider 50% according to law of probability. So it's going to be the damage that you receive will be times 50%, right? So it's going to be 600. So it's kinda 2000 damage per skill usage. But you don't have the cavalry attack. The attack reduction. You don't have the march speed reduction, which will occur every time you use the skill. Right? Let's compare to the next skill. Cao Cao have 50% damage towards Barbarian, and Minamoto have 50% bonus damage towards Barbarians as well. So, how about the cavalry bonus? What did Minamoto get? Minamoto get cavalry march speed by 10% and attack bonus by 20%. So Cao Cao, he get cavalry march speed bonus 10%, the same as Minamoto, but the cavalry attack bonus that Cao Cao get is 30% instead of 20. So Cao Cao have better cavalry attack bonus by 10% than Minamoto. Right, for the fourth unique skill. So Cao Cao have a healing factor by 1000 and rage restore by 100. It will be triggered by 10%. Right, so what about Minamoto? 10% chance as well, but the effect is damage taken to the enemy is increased by 30% for the next 3 seconds. So it's kind of great. Here. But what makes the huge difference is that the expertise. So Minamoto expertise is only increased the chance of dealing the additional damage by 25%. So let's see here, the damage factor is not increased, it's still 1400, and the additional damage still 600 to each seconds, and still in the next 2 seconds, so nothing changed. The only change in Minamoto expertise is only the 75% chance to deal additional damage, right? So it's kinda useless in my opinion. Well, let's just compare it with Cao Cao so you will know. Cao Cao it will increase the cavalry attack by 25% and decrease the cavalry defense by 10%. Despite of that, you have the cavalry attack by increased by 25% every time you deal to the enemy. So every seconds you will have cavalry attack increasement by 25%. So it's really better than 25% additional chances to deal bonus damage, which in the time you still have a 25 chance to miss the bonus damage. So even though you have 25% additional damage, it's still not going to make sure that you have 100% to deal additional damage, so it could be missed. That's what makes Cao Cao is better than Minamoto. And in the end, he has better damage than Minamoto, even though when he's using a skill. And what make it better to becoming the secondary towards Genghis Khan is because of his fourth skill, 10% to deal additional rage restoration for 100. So it's going to be complementary towards Genghis Khan, while Minamoto is he doesn't have any rage restoration skill. See, no rage restoration. So that's what make Cao Cao is more suitable and to become Genghis Khan secondary. Not only that, but because Cao Cao has a relatively better than Minamoto in a better of value. Right? So, yeah, that's what I'm going to tell you. What's the best commander for the KvK and why Cao Cao is better than Minamoto. So do not invest on Minamoto because it's not a long-term investment, except if you are going to make, for example, like 3 cavalry march, then you still can use your Minamoto, but in my opinion it's not a good investment in the future. It's the only primary function is it's going to be mostly used as full cavalry barbarian fortress rally, or the other neutral unit rallies such as conquering the Crusader fortress, or every neutral unit in the KvK is his primary function for Minamoto. Okay, before I jump to the conclusion of this video, I'm going to tell you one information before I forgot. Alright? So Genghis Khan, although he is a beast, but without these first 3 skill maxed to level 5, he's going to be weak. There are a lot of commanders that are considered to be stronger than him without these first 3 skill maxed. Alright, so if you're a free player, low spender, mid spender, or any kind of spender, if you don't have enough head to max these first 3 skill, do not use Genghis Khan in the battlefield because he's going to be weak and the value is not worth it. Instead, if you want to have a better value of commander, I would suggest to obtain Saladin because he is very great even though you only master the first 2 skill, right? You still even have the same amount of value. I mean, still get a value of having Saladin in the battlefield with only 5511. Okay, a lot of free player in the KvK Season 2, they are using Saladin as a primary and use the other cavalry commander as a secondary. Like any cavalry will be suitable because Saladin is really flexible. Alright, now I'm gonna jump into the conclusion. So the best cavalry commander pairing for the KvK Season 2 for the full cavalry march would be, so the best would be Genghis Khan as a primary and Cao Cao as a secondary. And the second best pairing would be Genghis Khan as a primary and Saladin as secondary. And for the third best pairing, which a lot of players are still using it because of its value, is Saladin as a primary and Joan of Arc as a secondary, or Pelagius as the secondary. Alright, that's all for today's video. I hope that it provides to be useful for you guys who wants to use the full cavalry march in the KvK Season 2. I hope that you will have a really good time building your cavalry troops, and you have a successful KvK. Right? So this is all for today's video. If you like this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. See you in the next video. Vassals out.